why retirement plans and retirement's a crazy notion. Who wants to miss out on fun and sacrifice so that one day, someday, when they're finally too old, they can finally enjoy life? I don't want to go jet skiing when I'm 85 and might break a hip. You think I'm going to go get crunk up in the club at 85? I can't even do that today. The only thing that happens when you're 85 is you wake up. And some days you wish that wouldn't happen. Your body hurts, your eyes are swollen shut, now you got to go be president. Why do people want to retire? I think it's probably because trading time for money sucks. It's because physical labor is exhausting. I remember I did a job for a week when I was like 16 years old in 104-degree heat, like trying to set something up at a dump site. That sucks. You should retire from those kind of things. My dad was a coal miner. Retire from that. Is it because what we're told to do as part of the American dream is retire, and so we just buy into that philosophy? What if you could actually create a life that you didn't want to retire from? Look, I get it. If you're struggling right now, that might not actually seem like a possibility. If it feels out of reach, don't worry. I'm here, this part of this channel. I want to help you out. And look, if it is a bit tough, well, why would you want to take your hard-earned money and then allocate it towards plans that are locking your money away for decades, and they're riddled with fees, and there is no cash flow, and even while you may have a high interest rate that you're trying to earn, that's not guaranteed. Well, your debt might already be at a high interest rate that's costing you more than you're making. Look, it's time to question the system, to question that aim or goal of retirement. I mean, what does retirement really represent for you? Is it just, I finally get to relax, finally get to do the things that you want to do? But why wait to do those when you're too old to do them? And what types of things would you like to do today? It's just that you don't have time for it. Like, maybe you don't have time for it because you're too busy chasing money or trying to make ends meet or inflation's kicking your ass. Isn't it kind of crazy? We spend years doing things we hate to finally afford a life that we would love when we might be too old to actually enjoy it. All those years of hard work just to pay for a nursing home, that's crazy. This hard work can tax our soul. It can beat down our bodies, and it can suck out our energy. Hard labor without the right philosophy, without the right reach of the number of people that we're impacting or how deep we impact people. It's very low leverage with trading time for money. Well, it ends up creating a very limited life. An exhausting life, spending time doing things that drain us, leaving little time or energy for the things that we love and doing the things that we want to do with those that we love. But what would it take to determine or find a career that you actually enjoy? To find fulfilling work? Hopefully artificial intelligence and technology will help get rid of a lot of the physical labor jobs that people absolutely do not want to do. But it's tough sometimes to think about what is it you want to do when there's too many pressures out there of the bills you have to pay. So I'm not saying that this is going to be easy or that whatever your plan is, it's going to go exactly how you want it to. But I'm here to tell you that if you could find the right career, it's absolutely worth it. And look, this is on my mind because I have a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old. And the 14-year-old's done some comedy and acting, which he's phenomenal at. The 17-year-old is starting to film for me and edit a thing called Schooled, where we're teaching people, the kids essentially, about money. So I'm finding ways. I want, like, is it really what they enjoy or is it just convenient? I don't want them to live a life of convenience now that becomes a detriment to their long-term decisions because they're doing things just trading time for money, just because they end up having bills. Right now, they don't really have many bills. I pay the bills here. It's kind of a cush life, I'm not gonna lie. I try to teach them tough lessons. I try to make, like today, I made him move some furniture into a trailer. That's not fun. So I don't want to be too cush, but you know what I'm saying? It can be hard not to rush towards just earning money. And then we actually circumvent the most important moments and the most impactful decisions in our lives because we're just trying to earn. I remember when I graduated from college, I turned 44 years old today. I graduated from college in 1999. The economy was booming. It was super strong. There were so many opportunities, but at the same time, a lot of those things didn't really speak to me. They definitely didn't call to me, and ultimately, they could have never fulfilled me. Sure, I could have made money, and some of those opportunities were investment banks. I could have made a lot of money. I could even get benefits, right? I get benefits that people sometimes chase. People chase security when they go for these benefits, but often to their own detriment. You know, you get benefits like insurance, like matches on retirement plans, or even maybe of a pension. Excuse me for just a second. I know I'm interrupting your video, but it's because I'm really excited about this. Disrupting Sacred Cows, my newest book. It's new, it's fresh. It's about all of the things that have to do with our relationship to money, the things that hold us back, and how to, kind of peek into that, be able to resolve that. And ultimately, with the new economy and everything that's happening and moving so quickly, it is timely to help you to have more success in your finances. So go ahead and click the link if you want to grab this book and dive on in. But it's a losing game to trade your time for money, neglecting fulfillment just for that perceived security. Because our energy matters, our life matters. And retirement becomes this hope that we're going to eventually get there at the expense of the life along the way. I don't believe that's how it has to be. It's just something that's been programmed in our minds. Look, when I was going through making a choice in 1999, it was difficult and depressing trying to find my career. And look, I get this is pretty good problems, like, oh, there's a lot of opportunity out there. I actually had an offer to go to Milwaukee to work for a mutual fund company. When I got there, I never saw Milwaukee. I just saw the blizzard. All I saw was snow until I went into a building. And even when I was talking to my now wife that I was dating then, I'm like, would you move to Milwaukee? She's like, you should do what you want to do. I was like, I think she loved me, but not enough to move to Milwaukee when I showed her the blizzard, right? So my wife might not have showed up. I was in boring meetings the whole time I was there, talking about things I didn't really enjoy. And one of the perks they tried to give me is say, hey, if you do this job, you get to go on a lot of golfing outings. I suck at golf. I was in Scotland with my dad trying to golf once. We got to the 10th hole. I turned to the caddy. I go, what club do you think I should use? He goes, at this point, I think any will do. Oh, a putter? Like I'm teeing off. He's like, can't be much worse than the last hole. So I just decided at that point to retire from golf. So it wasn't really something I enjoyed, even though they thought it would be a perk. It's good for some, just not for me. And really, this was far from my home and family. A lot of people always ask, well, why do you live in Salt Lake City? Well, that's where my in-laws are. That's where, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. It's where my sisters are. It's where my parents are. It's where my family is. And family it's so meaningful to me. I can count on them. I love spending time with them. We have the best time laughing and spending time together. So that'd be far from home. And it's fine if I could always travel back, but that wasn't an ideal situation. And look, I was good at interviewing to get a job, but I wouldn't have been a good analyst in the stock market. It's not what my expertise is. It's not my cup of tea. It's not what I really enjoy. But that just happened to be the job that they offered that was paid really well. I was going to be working in the institutional investor division, meaning big corporations or high net worth people, which were people that were already wealthy. They're already good at getting help. There's tons of people giving them attention, but it really wouldn't have made the difference I want to make in the world. It wouldn't have really helped the middle class that I came from. A coal miner's son growing up in a small town called Price, Utah, part of Carbon County, Utah, where there's a bunch of coal mines, right? So it was almost like, here, fit in this box. You'll get benefits. You'll get all you want. Do this work, even if you don't enjoy it. And a lot of people get seduced in those decision makings at the detriment to their own life. And this is part of the choice. What if I could have made more money, but I've been less happy? And what I mean by less happy is show up at night exhausted, not excited to get up the next morning. I've been writing lately, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to get out of bed. That's crazy. It's like a little kid on Christmas Eve, like, oh my God, I can't wait to write. I never thought that was going to happen, but sometimes I write poetry. Sometimes I write comedy. This happened to be a book that I was writing that was so exciting to me that I kept calling my wife in to share it with her, or calling people, or pacing around this room right here where I'm recording this today. So what happens when you find that for yourself? Look, it's hard to make the shift to create something. Like I chose in the year 2000, instead of to go work for all these companies, I was going to start a business. That was scary. My family was worried about my security, and I didn't want to disappoint them. I was like, okay, there's going to be fluctuating income, but at the time I was single and I was kind of a miser, so I didn't have a lot of expenses. So I kind of could handle that a little bit easier, but I would be in charge of providing my own benefits. Back then, it was $70 a month for my health insurance that kicked in after a $10,000 deductible. A little bit more expensive these days, but I just started to look at those kind of things. I just wanted my family to be okay with the choice. And you know what? I just decided to create a career that called to me. What I mean by that is I chose to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone should be an entrepreneur. It's not going to call to everyone. I think comedy is pretty entrepreneurial because it's in the moment and I'm inventing something while I'm on stage. But even being in the business of finance for so long, I didn't want to go work for a firm. Firms had Here's the box you fit in. Here's what you're supposed to sell. Here's the things you're supposed to do. Here's the meetings you're supposed to go to. You're supposed to wear a suit and tie. I don't look like I'm from the financial world. I look more like I'm from biblical times, and just if Jesus would have lived longer, maybe he'd look like this, right? So it was hard to make that decision. I got really depressed, but I'm glad I made that decision because I remember we were filming this origin story for a book that I was doing, and it's a video book that was with writing as well. But my wife talked about how I just decided instead of moving to Milwaukee to just create my career, to figure out what I wanted to do and just invent it. And my youngest son at the time, he might have been 7, 8, or 9. He was like, "What do you mean invent it?" She's like, "Oh, Dad decided to be an entrepreneur and just invent what he wanted to do." And my son was like, "That sounds really cool." I'm like, "Cool, now I'm inspiring my kids to think that way." Now, it doesn't mean it's not checkered with difficulty. In the year 2008, I'd made some major real estate mistakes, and it was very complicated. It was very difficult. I didn't have those benefits. I had to really rely on what could I do to be more resourceful. But at the same time, I'm doing work that I love. It doesn't mean that we just do what we love and everything gets easy and the money just follows. It means that there's some struggles along the way, but it's worth it because it's motivating enough, because it's calling to who we are. And everybody has different skill sets. So instead of trying to copy someone else's stuff, find out what works for you. I even had this point where I was like, okay, I know finance really well and I enjoy it, but I'm not in love with doing the same workshops and teaching the same things. So I sold my company last year, and I started building that in 1998. And I decided I was going to focus on being more of an artist. Now, being financially independent, where you have enough cash flow to cover your basic expenses, gives you more choices that way. But don't do things you hate for your whole life to finally retire and do those things that you love eventually, because I think you become financially independent in a much shorter period of time. Keep watching this channel. Keep going to the other videos. We have frameworks that help you to do that, regardless of where you're starting out at. So I chose a little bit more to live like an artist and writing and performing and creating and writing a one-man show and writing books and writing comedy and, you know, all those kind of things. I want you to be able to find what it is that fulfills you and also be financially in a good place. That doesn't have to be at odds, being financially successful and being successful at life, having time with your family and having time in your business or your career. A lot of people are in this push and pull and they sacrifice way too much in the name of one day someday, but that someday never comes if you choose the wrong career. So if you don't have enough money right now, or you feel like the money's too good to walk away, here's some steps to help you create the space to find a career that makes sense for you. First, save on tax. A lot of people tip the government. Watch my videos, and my tax framework video will outline that for you. Save on interest, restructure, reallocate funds, renegotiate interest rates. There's a lot that you could do to lower what you're paying to banks. Investments, look for hidden fees or non-performing fees or commissions that don't make sense for you to actually move forward, and you start to remove those and you'll have a better financial situation. Or find where you have insurances not, they're just not set up right. Maybe you don't have the right deductibles or you haven't coordinated them. Therefore, there's inefficiencies or duplicate coverages. This is money that you can put back into your pocket. Continue to watch videos on that in this channel so you go, oh, I know exactly what to do. I'm putting it out there to help you out. Whether you ever buy one of my books or ever do anything with me, that's okay. But I do want you to ask tough questions because I'm filming videos in a segment called Wealth Labs to answer the questions on video, not just typing them back. So ask the tough things. And you can also make fun of me. Like, people have made fun of me because I posted a picture of me with some black boots with a cross in them and a Bentley on the salt flats, and like, what a douchebag. And I was like, looking back, they were right. I was a douchebag. It's fine though. I'm learning, I'm growing. So invest in your skill sets. What skill sets matter to you? I'm investing in writing workshops and acting coaches, and hell, I invest in therapy. Invest in your ability to make more money. That's what the skill sets are, the skill sets that matter. It could be anything from emotional intelligence to communication to whatever your career is and getting to a new level of where you could add value. Another piece is just to take time for yourself. Find time to listen to your own voice, not just others, not just podcasts and YouTube channel, like just time to yourself in nature or wherever it is. In meditation, like where can you just listen to that intuition? And then take the time to design a life that you love. Not for 30 years from today, not at retirement, redefine retirement and find a way to create value consistent with who you are, the best of who you are. Don't wait 30 years of your life to take 30 years off from living a life of value? Value creation is fun when we add value, we serve others, we solve problems. That can be engaging. That could be something that's exciting. If you can find your value and add more value, it's a key to sustainable fulfillment and happiness. So in what ways do you enjoy creating? Sometimes it might just be fun things that you do. Maybe it's things that are profitable, and there could be a mix, because when you can blur the lines between work and play, life becomes pretty amazing. So do the things that you've been saving for retirement along the way. Mini trips, mini retirements, shorter segments instead of like, oh, I can't wait till one day someday, which that may never come, to finally do the things that I love. Do those now because you're investing in yourself, in those experiences, in your livelihood. So do what you want. Do what you want more often. And so if you take a trip, do you want to come back to what you're doing right now? Because if not, it's time to find something new. So it's time to retire the mindset and the philosophy and the structure of retirement and create the life you don't want to retire from. Hey, hopefully you like this format. A little bit of a joke and then some content. I spent a lot of time researching and writing and making sure to deliver value. So if you like this American Dream concept, that you want to get past the myths and misinformation around finance, we'll go to the next video and discover even more.